Live in just a couple seconds, and here we are. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 28 of the Deadhead Podcast. Super happy to be here. Me and Jan are always looking forward to these shows every 2 weeks. It's a good way for us to decompress, talk about some games, talk about whatever we're doing in life and whatever in general. But this episode is a I thought I muted that. Sorry about that. Uh Something was going on. Did you guys hear that? I had like
a weird
I could hear just fine.
My bad. Anyway, yeah. So this episode should be a good one. Of course, we're having a special guest, Emma from the Once Upon a Quest YouTube channel. Hi, Emma. How's it going?
Hi. Thanks so much for asking me to do this. I'm good. How are you doing?
I think we're doing good. Jan, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I started traveling, as you can tell from my my ambient. I'm here. It's not my usual one, but so yeah, I'm doing great. I'm having a lot of fun. What about you?
Good deal. Everything's been good. I've been busy. I've been working every day. Yesterday was the first day I didn't have anything.
It doesn't sound good to me, but
planned. Well, I mean, I'm living, and everything's fine. But it's been rough these past few days. I've been working very, very long hours. So it feels good to just come here, talk about some nerdy stuff, and just forget about life for an hour and a half or so with you guys and with Emma here. So anyway, before we get into the episode for the day, if you guys wouldn't mind giving us a follow on every platform, and we should have links in every single one of our bios, so check us out there. Also, I have Emma's all of her info down in the comment section below to her channel, and from there I'm sure you can find all her other social platforms as well. So check her out after watching this if you guys are new to the channel, and anybody who's following her over here to come hear her talk for a little while. Hope you guys will stick around for future episodes because we have some good times over here, and we're looking forward to what comes next for the Deadhead Podcast. Almost to episode 30, Jan. We got to do something big for episode 30.
I think we're planning already something big, aren't we?
I believe so. Yeah. I think we got a couple things in mind. But anyway,
that's a lot of episodes. When did you start this then?
Let's see, Jan. I don't know.
Well, I joined in last year.
Yeah, you did. So I think my time is running together. But we started. I believe my first episode was in March. I guess 2022 would make March 2022. Yeah, I believe so. My wife was my first guest on the cast.
Nice.
And it was a good episode, and it really just jumpstarted the channel. We talked really about her and the things that she was into and things like. She's not like a huge gaming nerd, probably like all of us are. But it was good just to talk about just whatever. And that's really at the end of the day, I like those episodes the best sometimes when we just get away from games and just really just talk about life, because look at all of us here, right? I mean, I'm a country bumpkin in the US of A, and then you and Jan is in Croatia, and then you're from Ireland, right, Emma? Is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm in Ireland.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're representing a few different locations today.
Yeah.
We're going international for sure.
Yes.
We've been international. We've been international from the beginning. So, we started March 2022, and then I think I brought Jan on 2 or 3 months after that, because it was I was telling Jan it was really, really hard to have someone that wants to come on the show every 2 weeks. It's just really hard to commit to that. So I reached out to Jan. We met each other in high school, and it's been history ever since. So
nice,
it's going good.
Yeah, and it's good to have you need to have a good rapport with someone that you can chat easily with and bounce off each other for ideas.
That is true. Although we really lucked out, because Dylan and I, before joining into this, I don't think we've heard from each other for like 7 to 8 years before he called me for this.
Yep.
So because we did go to high school together, but sorry, you were saying.
Oh no, I was gonna say I knew that Jan was still into gaming and things like that, but we haven't really had any kind of personal relationship really since high school. So it was really good to reach out to him, and he's been rock solid ever since then.
Yeah, we once had a bit of a discussion about The Last of Us Part 2. Purely through messages, if you remember that.
Yeah, we did.
But that was about it, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. And I think when Final Fantasy 15 came out as well, we were talking about that for like slightly.
Oh, shit, did we?
I believe so, yeah.
Damn.
So anyway, we've had an off and on thing, but I mean, we've been pretty consistent with the show. So Jan, I appreciate you for, again, I think I say it every show. Thank you for being complete and coming to the show every time. I really appreciate it, man. And Emma, thank you for coming on this week. We really, really appreciate it. I'm glad I stumbled across your YouTube channel, and I'm looking at it here, and you have 816 subscribers now.
Yay!
One, congratulations, and two, how does it
Thank you.
feel? How does it feel? I mean, that's a lot of hard work. That's a lot of
Thanks a
time.
million.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I just hit 800 at the weekend, which was crazy because I think it was 2 weeks ago that I had just hit 700, and I was like, woohoo, 700. And then I was
Oh.
like, holy shit, I'm getting, could I swear on this?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Thank God. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, I have another 100 subscribers already. That's mad. So, yeah, it's really cool to see it because like I started in January of 2022, and I was like, I don't know. I was expecting like maybe a few of my friends would watch my videos and nobody else. So it's crazy to see like, yeah, 816 subscribers now, which is just amazing. So
yeah, that's a huge jump. I mean, I just saw you tweet, and maybe when you said 800, you were just kind of guesstimating around that ballpark. But I feel like it was just like 2 days ago you said you had 800 subscribers, so you gained 16 in like 2 or 3 days. Am I right on that? Or I mean,
I think it was over. Yeah, it was definitely over the weekend at some point that I hit 800, and then because the nature of YouTube and everything is that like things fluctuate. So you know, you might go up 2, down 1, up 3, down 2. Like, you know, it changes all the time. So I like to kind of like give it a day to settle.
Right.
You know, so because I'd hate to be like, yay, 800, and then you go back to it and like someone's unsubscribed out of spite, and then it's one below or something like that. I don't know. I have a weird thing in my head about that, but no, I think yeah, I think I just I like the round. I like to celebrate the little round numbers there. So when I get to another 100, I'm like, woohoo!
Right.
It's just kind of fun to, I don't know, to do that and look back and yeah. But then I definitely have gotten a few more since then. So yeah, I think it picked up definitely since I started playing The Last of Us 2. I think I noticed it picking up a bit then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mentioning that game is kind of a surefire way to start them, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely popular. And yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's about the content as well. I'm not saying that. It's just you know, finding a reason to talk about The Last of Us 2 is just not on the internet, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I give you an example. Like as soon as I put the thumbnail up, right? You know, we're pretty small town. We're just beginning on what we're doing over here on the Deadhead podcast. But I put The Last of Us Part 2 in the thumbnail for this very episode, and I put it on TikTok with like a song or something in the background, and its views are quote unquote out the ass just on that picture alone. That this is even somewhat of a, and I mean really, like as far as the topic of conversations today, whatever really, you know, how we try to keep things very calm, cool, collected, unless we have something in particular we want to talk about. I just put the Uncharted and The Last of Us because I know those are two of the major games you're playing on your channel right now. Like when I found your channel, you were playing Resident Evil, and like me and Jan have made multiple episodes in really the past few months. I mean, leading into the new year, right? We talked about The Last of Us and Resident Evil more than anything. So when I can find somebody that is one, you've never, let me ask you this, you've never played these games before until you started doing your gameplay videos on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. So I played the first The Last of Us game a couple of years ago, but I'd never played The Last of Us 2, and I'd never played any of the Resident Evil games. And same with Uncharted 3. So everything I'm playing on the channel is a new playthrough for me, as in like a blind playthrough. I haven't played anything yet for the second time, but that could change in future. If people really want to see something that I've played before, I might do it again. But at the moment, it's all new experiences, and that's kind of what I like to do. And yeah, that's the fun of it as well as diving into like super popular franchises and super popular games that, you know, I know it's going to be a good time.
Right.
I know I'm going to probably enjoy it, and then you know, play that, and then have people kind of leaving little tips for me as well as I go along, because oh boy, I do need them.
Oh well, who doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was watching one of your. There's a big elephant in the room. I wanted to ask you about The Last of Us Part Two, but I'll leave that for a second conversation. But I was watching one of your gameplay videos, and you were playing. I believe you're playing Uncharted 3 right now, right? Or like you were
Yes.
playing. I haven't been catching up too much here as of late, but you were literally jumping. So in the game, you were jumping from one building to the other, and when you
Mhm.
did it, you just fell immediately, and you were like,
Mm.
"Damn!" Like that. And that was the last thing that was the last thing I had watched. And I remember like that one that was super funny, and two, like it's in with your channel being gameplay walkthroughs, gameplay videos, and things of that
Mhm.
nature. There's a lot, and I don't mean this with any kind of disrespect whatsoever, but there's a lot of people on the YouTube platform to do that, and
Mhm.
and for you to be successful, I think you have to have charisma. Obviously,
Oh, for
you
sure.
have to ooze charisma. You got to be somewhat good at the games you're playing, and even if you're not, you got to be funny when you screw up. And I believe you just got to have that overall quality. And I think that was one of the reasons I was telling Jan, and one of the reasons why I reached out to you, because I think that I think you have all that. And I think that's really
Oh,
represented
thank you very
into your
much.
with you having 816 subscribers. So really, my question for you, and if Jan's got something, he can chime in as well. Like, because there's so many people that do the gameplay walkthroughs, what's really keeping you motivated to do it? Is there something that motivates you into making this kind of content when it's been done so many times throughout the years, really past 15 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I started doing this, I knew already that it was like there was a lot of
Right.
similar, channels out there. So I knew that going into it that there was a lot of, this was not a new thing.
Mhm.
But I don't know, I just kind of was watching those types of videos already and I was like, God, that's so much fun. And I loved watching them. And I'd often kind of find a channel by finding, a game I was searching or whatever, and then I would stay for the personality. And I just thought, I was like, that just seems like a lot of fun. And I was like, I'll just try it. I want to do something fun. I want to do something for me. It was definitely just like a hobby to kind of focus myself on, and something that's kind of regular. Like I have to have a bit of a schedule and it's a bit of a routine now. So I'm like setting aside time each week to record and edit and like setting aside time to play games. So it's quite fun. So, but I want to do that kind of for that reason. I didn't really have like ambitions or anything. And yeah, again, like I didn't know who was going to watch my videos. But I was just like, I just want to give it a go. And if anyone enjoys it, then that's great. And if they don't, that's fine. But for me, I was like, as long as I'm having fun, then that's what counts. And if it's not fun anymore, then I'll probably just stop doing it. So I'm still having fun at the moment. Yeah, I think that why I was kind of wanting to do it was just to kind of share the crazy experiences that we have when we're gaming. Like, because before I'd play a lot of single player games and then you'd have like these epic moments and I'd kind of be like, God, I wish someone saw that. So it kind
Hey,
of
wasn't that
stems from
cool?
that.
There's no one in the room.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, this is kind of fun. And that's what's fun about Let's Plays then as well, is like you're watching someone else experience something maybe from a game that you've already played and you want to see what they think of it. And yeah, that's what kind
definitely.
of what draws me in.
Yeah, no, I think that's like the thing you said about, what's most important is you having fun. That's like the main, from what I learned, right? Every time that a YouTuber talks about this, what I get is that that's the main thing you have to put your mind on, right? Because if you think about, it's good to have ambition, but if you think just about, some kind of a goal, right? Subscriber wise or financially wise, you're not going to get far. You got to get that drive within you to just, I just like doing what I'm doing. And if eventually that takes me somewhere, then I'll say that's great. So I prospect great things. Also, that thing you said about seeing a YouTuber, the way he experienced something that you also experienced, seeing how he reacts to it, I can totally I totally empathize with that. I remember when I discovered Dark Souls, and I was like 14, and I loved everything. It was like something completely new to me, right? Such a unique experience. I just kept watching, was glued to my laptop, kept watching YouTube video after YouTube video of like popular YouTubers just reacting to certain traps or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I can totally get that.
Yeah, and it's funny because like the sadistic side comes out a little bit when you want to watch other people
Yeah.
reacting. So like
Hell
you know
yeah.
you want to look up the sad reactions or like you know
Mm-hmm.
a difficult boss, for example, like something like
Mhm.
that. It's a little bit of sadism comes out then, doesn't it? You're like, I
Oh,
want to see
definitely.
someone else cry at the thing that broke my heart, or
Yeah.
I want to see
Yeah,
someone
like
else like you know be traumatized over this difficult boss or whatever it is.
yeah, our character's death. They go like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, I love this character." And you're over there on the other side of the screen, just fucking giggling, going, "Oh yeah, you like him, don't you? Well, enjoy while you can."
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, speaking of crying, right? I mean, let's
Oh.
get into the elephant in the room. So I think I've tried to push it off a little bit. So I saw
I'm
your
ready.
reaction. I saw your reaction.
We got a towel, right?
It's all
I mean,
fake.
the
No, I'm
napkin.
kidding.
Right. Well, I hope we don't make you cry too much, but I did see your reaction to the big death in The Last of Us Part 2. My
Oh
first
yeah.
question for you
Yeah.
is
Spoiler warning, everyone.
how did you go? Yeah, spoiler warning, right? But I think
Pardon,
we've
yes.
talked about this crap a million times over here. How did you go so long? Well, I guess the real question is, were you spoiled about the death of Joel before you got to that part? And if you weren't, how did you go that long without knowing that Joel was
That's a good
dead?
question. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was spoiled. That's the thing. It's like if you're
Hmm.
at all on the internet, you will probably find spoilers for things that you like because it's impossible to completely avoid them. Also, The Last of Us Part 2 had come out before I had played the first game. So as well, you know, so it was out, and then at the time I remember there was some like controversy, there was some media controversy about this character played by Laura Bailey, and I'm a fan of Critical Role, so I was kind of like, oh, what's happening there with that? So it was kind of on my radar, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then so at some point anyway, it definitely got spoiled. I knew that Joel was going to die, but I didn't know really when. And what shocked me in the game was kind of just how soon it all happened. And I did also kind of know that it was going to be the character of Abby as well to do it, because I think that was maybe from there was so much media talk about people hating this character and hating this game, and it was kind of from that. So I definitely, yeah, I kind of knew that going into it, but again, it was kind of like some time had passed before I played the first game, so I wasn't even like paying that much attention maybe when I heard those spoilers, because I was like a fan of the game because I hadn't played it yet. Yeah, so then when it came to playing the game, I was like, I do know this is going to happen at some point, but I don't know how, I don't know when. And like, yeah, it was earlier than I thought it was going to happen, and more shocking, I think, than I kind of imagined. Yeah.
I mean, I think we all got spoiled of it before playing it. I mean, at least I know I did. So, and it still shook me. I think that scene, I remember I was blinded by rage when I saw it. I was like, but like, you know, but the way the game intends, right? Because I just want to, you know, get back at that Abby person. I want to just get back to her.
Yeah.
So,
it was
but
horrible.
It was, oh no, it was devastating. But
Yeah.
like, did it? I mean, knowing that Joe would die, did it impact your playthrough of part 1? Because you know it's kind of different when you know character is going to die.
I
You know,
think
you're kind of become
by
more
that
distant from them.
time I might have kind of forgotten about that, or I can't remember at what point I knew that spoiler that he was going to die in the second game. But honestly, when I was playing the first game, that was not in my head at all. So I don't know if I knew at that time or at what point that spoiler happened. But
Right.
I definitely wasn't thinking about that. It might have been something that I'd forgotten about, or maybe I hadn't learned that spoiler yet. I can't remember, but I do remember playing the first game. That was not on my mind at all. So I was just really like enjoying that game. It was a game, I suppose, that people had told me that I would love. And the first thing I did when I got the PS5, because I hadn't had a PlayStation like in years since I was a kid. So the first thing I did when I got the PlayStation was like, I want to play The Last of Us, because that's what everyone told me I would love, and it seems like I would be into it. But yeah, so that didn't really affect the first game, because I don't even know if I remembered or knew at the time. But yeah,
I mean, you probably knew, because if you got a PS5, it must have been after. Last of Us 2 came out, which I probably just. I mean, the game's so
Yeah.
awesome. Probably just forgot.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember. Like maybe I did know, but I like
Mhm.
it wasn't in
Mhm.
my definitely wasn't in my head at the time anyway. I don't know.
Right.
My memory is a bit crappy anyway. But
Mm.
yeah, I definitely
Join
wasn't
the
thinking
club.
about playing the first game, but definitely in the break between playing the first game and thinking about playing the second game, I definitely knew that was. I don't know at what point I learned that spoiler. I must have known playing. I'm thinking back now. Sorry, I'm backtracking because I must have known that playing the first game, but I just don't remember thinking about it.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well, that probably helped out your
Well,
your gameplay. I mean, really,
Yeah.
so really that leads me to my next thing. I don't know if Jan had another question for you as far as that, but my next thing would be like, how did you feel about that death? How did you feel it was carried out and the repercussions after that? Now you're not done with the game, right? You're not done with
oh,
Last of Us
yeah.
Part 2 yet, are you?
No, I think
Okay.
I'm about 7 or 8 hours in, I would say.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
so
oh,
you.
okay.
So
Yeah.
which
Or
part are you
maybe.
in? Just for me to know. What's going
So
on.
I'm in Seattle, and then
Uh-huh.
I've just done what was the last thing?
Was
Yeah,
that
I'm
like
exploring
huge
Seattle. I'm just
segment in
thinking, what was the
Seattle?
last episode I uploaded? I was exploring Seattle with Dina and Ellie
Oh,
in the
okay.
kind of part where it opens up a bit and you're exploring the
Oh
different
yeah.
shops and different things.
Mhm.
Now, I have played on after that a little bit, so I'm still in Seattle, but
Yeah, no, okay, I get it. So it's still pretty
um,
fresh with that.
I've kind of gone to the next part of the main story after you
Mhm.
explore the open worldy bit, and then there's a main story. I don't want
Right.
to say too much because I haven't uploaded those episodes yet. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
All
If that
right,
makes
okay,
sense.
okay.
I
Yeah,
got
no,
you.
we'll,
Okay, well, we'll try to be a little careful then. But I mean, I guess really you could probably still answer the question, and then I'd like to hear me and Jan probably would like to hear it later on when you play a little bit farther. But
Mhm.
so like after the death of Joel, and now you've played your 7-8 hours into the story. I mean, how are you? It does it still hurt quite a bit? Are you kind of okay with it? How are you ready to handle Abby when you eventually meet her? Maybe, I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
not.
not.
I'm not ready for it, and I know it's going to happen. I know that I'm going to play as her again, and I'm at the
oh,
moment
you know.
I'm not happy about it. Like I don't want to.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I suppose yeah. So when that scene happens and Joel dies, I definitely couldn't play on after that. Like I couldn't
Mhm.
record because I was just sitting there not talking about anything. I was like,
Mhm.
this is I can't continue filming this because like I have nothing to say
Mhm.
about the game. I'm just sitting here traumatized. Like so I took a break and then I think a few days later I started to record again and I felt way better after that. And I was like able to enjoy the game again and like just, go back to normal, like commentating on everything.
Mhm.
So I think that at the moment I'm not feeling the heartache anymore. I'm just kind of enjoying playing, as Ellie and, her kind of relationship with Dina is like progressing and we're kind of getting into interesting territory when they're kind of catching up to the bad guys now. So Ellie's kind of being confronted with the reality of what she's actually going to do. Like, so in the game, they've kind of set off on the horse and they're like, yeah, we're going to go, hunt them all down and kill them all. And they've kind of had their first experience with like, oh, this is what this actually is. So it's when they find the two guys who Tommy has met before them. Well, they
Oh,
presume
yeah.
it's Tommy because they're tied up to chairs and they were like
Mhm.
tortured to death. And Ellie was kind of like, "Oh, this is Tommy's work. Tommy did
His
this."
signature,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that
The
was really
Miller way.
interesting. Yeah, because she was like, "Oh yeah, Joel told me about this technique where you play them off each other." But I was like, you could see it in her face, like that she was thinking it over for the first time, where she was
Mhm.
like, "Huh, okay, this is actually the reality of what I'm planning on doing."
Mhm.
It's like,
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
you do this? Like it's kind of one thing to fantasize and romanticize the revenge kind of adventure. Like you're like, let's go hunt them down. Woo. But then you're like, oh Jesus, okay. Oof.
Mhm.
That's oh boy. That like Tommy has set
This
the
is who
bar
I am
here.
now.
And
Yeah.
Right. Right.
that's
Yeah. No. Well, it's like I've told Jan this. Have you, Emma? Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption 2?
Mm-hmm.
One of the
Yeah.
greatest games of all time.
Love
Okay,
it.
what to me, I
Okay,
love that game.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt, but we should, what we should do? We should link like a great drinking game. Just
Every
take a
time
sip
I mention
every
that?
time you mention Red Dead
Red Dead
Redemption.
2.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. It is amazing. I
I
had
agree.
a quote. See, you ruined it. I had a beautiful quote that had a lot to do with what Emma just said. Right when it comes
I'm
to
sorry.
revenge, and I've had this conversation with you before, Jan. I don't know if you remember, but Arthur Morgan looks at, I believe, I can't remember who he's looking at, the main character in the game, and he's looking at somebody, and I forgot it has something to do with revenge and vengeance.
Revenge
And
is a
Arthur
fool's
looks
game,
at him and
something
goes,
like that, right?
yeah, vengeance is a fool's game. Revenge, that's just gonna get you killed.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like when you play games like Last of Us Part 2, that's so rooted in this hate and a little bit of guilt, right? And then this revenge is like the overarching feeling of the entire game. And how, I mean, like, and me and Jan, again, we won't go into like full on spoilers here, but just like that whole story is super dark. It's just you need to take breaks from it because it's so it's so damn depressing.
It's just
that-
depressing, yeah.
I gotta play something else. And I like dark and gritty, but like this is like a bit much,
It's
you know.
too real,
Yeah.
honestly. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the Neil Druckmann commented on it. He said that before the game came out, the second one, he said if part one was a story about love, a story about a character like Joel reconnecting to his humanity, part two is the exact opposite of that. It's a game of hate and what it can do to you, how it can make you lose all that humanity.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, I'm kind of scared, but like I knew it was going to be rough when I started
Be
it.
prepared.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm balancing it with a happy game like Uncharted 3, so I can like
Mhm.
That's-
Good,
that's
yeah.
a totally different vibe, Like
Yeah.
there's no need for like preparing myself and taking breaks from traumatic events because
Mhm.
Uncharted 3 is just like woo. So
Right.
I was like,
Mostly,
that's
yeah.
probably a good choice to play them at the same time because I'm kind of worried about how The Last of Us 2 is gonna go. Ah.
Yeah,
I
well,
feel
that's-
like
I was gonna
tell
s-
me I've been through the worst of it though, right? I've been through the worst of it, haven't I? Haven't I?
Ooh.
Haven't I?
Mm,
Don't
well, I mean, the-
Never
I'm-
mind.
no comment. I'm done. I'm
yeah,
not-
no comment. Yeah, same.
Well,
I think that the worst part of it is you digesting the whole thing. I think that's the worst part.
yeah. I will personally say that I think you've been through the worst of it as far as feeling betrayed and hurt, but
Mhm.
the events that transpire are interesting, to say the least.
Okay,
and
you know
I've
what it
seen
is?
that.
I think that like the big thing is Joel's death. That's in one scene the worst.
Mhm.
But the problem is the thing just go. There's no one great thing that kind of makes things escalate greatly. It's just that it's a lot of little things that just pile up, and at some point you're just emotionally exhausted, right? And just want it to be over. But I promise it's a good game. I promise you it's good
Mhm.
fun.
Mhm.
What is that? It's one of my favorite games of all time. Don't get me wrong, but it's difficult to replay. Definitely, I need to be in the right mindset. I said
I
it's
don't
one of
know.
my favorites. Didn't
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, that's fine. If
what
that's
about it being my favorite? You
yeah,
didn't
Last of Us
agree
Part
with
2
that?
being your favorite, one of your favorite games of all. I mean, look, it's fine. It's completely objective. I mean, you believe whatever you want.
Come
But
on, I mean, you cannot. I mean, you cannot dispute that it's actually that it's doing something that no other game does, right?
what? Tell a shitty
Well,
story?
that-
Okay, that's it. I'm done. I won't say anything
Oh
else.
my god, dude, no!
Oh,
that's it.
shots
That's it.
fired.
All right, that's
Well,
it.
that's good. We got two sides of the same coin. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
interested-
it's
I'm interested
always-
to talk about this when I finished playing it,
We should.
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
can we can all talk
All-
freely about it. Yeah,
We would love to have you back.
Dude,
we
we
can
would.
team up, bash this guy. This guy.
yeah. We could,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if I'm gonna love it or hate it yet. Well, we'll
Oh,
see.
That's true.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. My mind is open. I'm keeping an open mind.
Mhm.
I've had a few people in the comments being like, "Please keep an open mind." I'm like, I am. I
Mhm.
just hate Abby right now.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, it's good. I mean, that's what the game
Yeah.
wants.
yeah.
That's right. I think what makes me and Jan work so well, especially on this show, is that we will have these very like polar opposites of certain ways we feel. Like I mean, and with The Last of Us, by the way, like as far as talking about it further with you when you get farther in the story and you finish the game, I think we're 100% open to that because I think y'all can agree. We come up with pretty much any excuse in the world to bring up The Last of Us in some way, shape, or form in every episode. We'll be talking about Final Fantasy, and somehow it gets
It's just
thrown
like The
in
Last
there.
of Us, where
Yeah, it ought to be just be
Yeah.
a Last of Us podcast at this point. Just bring that in and just start it with The Last of Us at first, and then just go into whatever else we talk about.
Yeah, and Red Dead 2. Don't forget Red Dead 2. I would talk about Red Dead
Oh,
2 all day
dude.
long as well. by
Red
the way.
Dead 2, it's amazing.
It's one of my
Amazing.
favorite games ever.
yeah, I need to go come around and play that game sooner or later.
Yeah.
Ooh, what
It's
if that's the
fantastic.
episode 30 thing? Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's Red Dead 2 is right up there. But yeah, no, like as far as The Last of Us Part 2, where I give it credit is the gameplay is phenomenal. Has some of the best like combat and like a realistic style combat in any like third person shoot, in my opinion. I just feel like it's so brutal and it fits with the story.
Yeah.
And I think for that alone, I really like it. I mean, look, it's you gotta give it a solid rating just because of the quality behind it. Naughty Dog knows how to make games. I mean, look, you're playing Uncharted 3 right now. Uncharted 3, that is, everyone says that's like their least favorite of the entire series. And that game is still, it bleeds quality, man. The set pieces, that entire desert set piece where the plane crashes and you have to make it back.
Spoiler alert, but yeah.
Oh,
Spoiler.
shit. Come on.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's on like the cover of the game. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
but I'm not
that's
that
fair,
far
yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My bad.
You're
bad.
okay.
All right. But anyway, I mean, still though, I mean, they make great games.
Yeah,
Like-
they do. And even just the improvement from Uncharted 1, because I played Uncharted 1
Yeah.
before I had my YouTube channel.
Mhm,
And then the improvement from 1 to 2 was amazing.
mhm.
And then, I watched a behind the scenes interview with Naughty Dog people talking about making Uncharted. And someone described it, I can't remember who, but someone described it as making Uncharted 1 was like, what was it? It was like sculpting ice, or no, not sculpting ice. It was like sculpting something delicate with a chainsaw was like the metaphor they used.
Mhm.
And then because they were just saying how like kind of hard it was to make the first game, and then they were saying like how the second one then they could really like improve it in so many ways because they already had that first one done. But the first one was like, I can't remember what the exact thing was they said, but I just remember that's funny. Like they were like, yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
doing
It's a
something with a
chainsaw, I guess,
chainsaw,
yeah,
like that's really delicate. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, the second one, then you could see the improvements. And even the third one, I'm noticing like, oh yeah, they've added like this or this little change here or here.
Right.
And it's,
And then you
I think
jump to
that's great.
4 and it's,
Yeah, I'm excited to play 4. Can't wait.
yeah, that one's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel that the chainsaw in that metaphor is supposed to be the PlayStation 3 hardware, like the development kit. Like from what I understand, it was like hell for developers to design games for that.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that Uncharted 1, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I think it was supposed to be a PlayStation 2 game. And then, they did the swap, so that's why the game's kind of rough. But I still love the story of that game. Honestly, it's like if I have to replay one Uncharted game, it's got to be that, for a quick replay.
The first one.
The first one, definitely.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean,
shocked me in the first one was that big spoiler for anyone who has to play the first one, but that big reveal, like kind of 2/3 of the way through the game, where you're just like, what genre am I in? Do you know what I'm
yeah,
talking
the horror,
Mhm.
yeah, the horror
right.
thing.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause I had
you started
no
playing
idea.
Resident Evil 5, yeah.
I had no idea that was coming. I didn't know anything that was coming. I was literally like, what genre am I in? All of a sudden, it completely changed. Oh yeah, that came out of left field.
I mean,
For
that's the fun of it. It has the adventure thing, because like unlike all the other games, you're all the time this one island, and little by little, you're uncovering its secrets. And while you're doing that, you're also the relationship between characters changes. I think that's what makes it charming to me, right? It's like it's much more little in scope, much more shorter. I don't know. I guess that's why I like it, because the other ones, they're these great odysseys, right? And I don't know. Uncharted 1 is more cozy, I'm trying to say, and maybe the controls are a bit rough. It's definitely the hardest game out of the tetralogy, but it has plays on here. You cannot see it when I'm pointing at my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
was just thinking about it being cozy, and then I was just thinking about that horrible room when you're in
Mhm.
and you have to turn on these generators, and
Yeah.
then
Oh my
like
God,
these
yes.
creatures are coming, and I'm just like, this is cozy, yeah. It's so cozy.
yeah.
It gets cozy after the 15th playthrough. You'll get
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not feeling at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's definitely the first one's a much more smaller scale story. I went back to go play it a little bit before Final Fantasy 16 came out because I was telling Jan I think maybe it might have been last episode or 2 episodes ago. It's probably 2 episodes ago, and I had played the demo for Final Fantasy 16,
Mhm.
and it was only the
Mhm.
first 2 hours. And when I got done playing it, I was like, there's literally nothing else I want to play. Like every
Mhm.
game is shit to me now. Like immediately I was like, why am I even playing games anymore? So I started like just playing just random stuff. So I started up this game and this game. I'm like, okay, well I have a backlog of stuff. Let me try to finish something. And before you know it, I got on Uncharted, the very first Uncharted, and like I got like through the first sequence, and it was super fun. But it took me back to like when I was a kid, like booting up my PS3 and playing it. But man, the mechanics, the gunplay, it's just so floaty.
Mhm.
And it's honestly too, like I was playing on a harder difficulty too, but like
Well, crushing.
yes, the AI
Yeah.
is ridiculous in that game. It is
Oh, hell yeah.
ridiculous. They can shoot you from anywhere. It does not matter if you think you're in cover, you're not. There's some guy right behind you
Mm.
waiting to just let everything loose. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That was pissing me off. I was mad as hell about that.
Oh, dude. You have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played them on normal difficulty, but
Mm.
I'm always like, these pesky AI, they're so clever, they're always flanking you, always flanking.
Always flanking, man.
Yeah.
Always, and they're always around. Well, see, like I think the reason why I was playing a hard because I've beaten the first one so many times at this point. I'm like, okay, well, since I'm waiting for Final Fantasy 16, I need to have some sort of new experience.
Yeah.
And I immediately hated myself for it. So I will probably never go back and play it again on hardened. I'll just play on normal. I'm sorry, man. I got enough stress in my life.
I mean, it's
I don't
alright. It's
need-
okay to be a little bitch. Just admit it. It's fine.
Okay. All right. All right.
But
It's okay.
I'll
It's a
take-
Dark Souls player.
I'll take it. Yeah, that's right.
no, I don't want to. I'm not getting it.
He can
I'm
have
just
that
saying,
shit.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm a
you
little bitch sometimes too.
No,
I,
listen.
I know.
I like a
I sometimes-
challenge. I like a challenge. I don't like it when I want to like break my controller. I have so many controllers
Yeah.
because I break them.
Oh
break them
God.
Oh
all.
my god, dude.
Yeah, I see. I'm prone to rage as well, so I'm like, normal mode is fine. I don't ever go above normal, and then certain games, depending on what it is, I'll
Mhm.
play on easy mode as well.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it
did the
depends
same
on
thing.
it depends on the game, because I'm just
Mhm.
like, I'm prone to rage,
Right.
and I don't want to do that because it's not nice. But yeah, I haven't thankfully
Gotta keep the
broken
demons
anything
in.
ever. Yeah, but it's a lot of swearing and shouting and
Well, that's
Well,
always fun.
okay.
Pretty.
Well, then I can understand it. I don't know. I think that like playing these games like Uncharted on harder difficulties at like age 13 kind of put me on a path to Zen and inner
Mhm.
peace, right?
hmm
So
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Maybe it's good for us. Now I have played.
Mhm.
Well, I haven't finished it, but I have been playing Sekiro. So there's some
Oh.
part of me
Oh.
that's enjoying that
Mhm.
side of things, and I'm like, I should be raging more. And I have raged a lot playing that game, but I haven't raged as much as I thought I would. And I think
Right.
it's
You're on the right
because
path.
I understood. Yeah, I think it's because I was like, okay, I know this is going to be very difficult, but
Mhm.
then there's something about the combat where you know what you're doing wrong all the time. Now, there's exceptions to that where there is some bullshittery happening, but for the most part, you're like, oh, I need to parry faster, or I need to jump instead of
Well, that's
dodge, or
right, yeah.
whatever. So yeah. So
That
it's
is part of the
interesting.
process. So I think that's the thing you got to embed in your mind, that losing is
Mhm.
part of the process. The game is
Right.
only
Yeah.
over when you give up.
Yeah, and that's hard for me to learn for sure because I don't like losing. I think.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
same way. Like I think Emma had said, like she plays most games on normal, but like if you know, like for me, like if I know the combat, like let's take God of War Ragnarok for example. I beat that game on what's the difficulties? Jan? Is it just hard? Is it above
Okay.
like what's
God,
There
What
is
are the-
give me God of
something-
War. There's like
Yeah.
give me balance, then give me a challenge, and give me God of War.
I
Yeah.
think
I'm
I
not
was. I think I
mistaken.
did give me a challenge. So that's like I did do that one because I knew the combat. I knew I was pretty. I was pretty decent at it. So I gave it a try. But if it's a game I don't know, I'm like I'm not trying to like just have a horrible time because that'll make me not play the game anymore. And
Well,
you
honestly,
miss
though,
out on great experiences because you're playing it on a difficulty that's like too
well, I
hard
think
for
that's the
you.
way to go. I think like the harder difficulties are just because of that. You know, once you played it a lot of times, you're getting the hang of it, and
Right.
now you want something to spice it up. Honestly, what I found is that sometimes the first playthrough normal of certain games is harder for me than the subsequent playthrough on a harder difficulty.
Hmm.
Like Uncharted 4 was like that for me. The first time was like on normal or hard, and it's kicked my ass. Chapter 21 or 22. I think Dylan knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was playing that, I was like, shit, this is going to kick my ass in crushing. And I ended up dying like only 15 times in that part. So that's so it went just fine, right?
Only 15
uh,
times, huh?
come on, you know what I'm talking about, like that
Mm-hmm.
part. And
Yeah.
Emma, you'll know too. That's like another part to be
In-
aware of. Like I don't
Okay, is this Uncharted 3 you're talking about?
four.
Uncharted 4. Okay, yeah. Okay, so
Yes,
that's
and
in
you'll
my
know.
future at some point.
You'll remember these
Oh
words,
God.
right?
Oh Jesus. Well, I
Yeah.
thought it couldn't get worse than the jet skis in Uncharted 1, but I could be wrong apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's up there. I mean, think Uncharted 1 and 4, and that one specific part of 4 are on the same level. I think what happens is that 2, 3, and most of 4 kind of soften you. You start forgetting how hard Uncharted can be, and then it fucking it hits you back with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there's definitely moments in the Uncharted, like for the most part, Uncharted is just like easy breezy. You're just like, I'll pick up this gun. Oh, out of ammo. Let me pick up this gun. Let me throw this grenade. Doodle 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 doodle.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then
Right.
sometimes it's just like, Jesus Christ, there's people shooting me from 360
Everywhere.
degrees. I don't
Yeah.
know where I'm going. What's
Mhm.
happening? People are throwing bombs at me. People are in ridiculous full suits of armor with shields and
Mhm.
killing me
Fucking
with a
Uzi.
punch.
Fucking miniguns.
Ah!
Yeah.
yeah. So it can definitely Uncharted can definitely be really hard at some points. Where
Very
you're just like,
intense, very intense. Like I find that every time I'm struggling with an area and it's just like because the first one, I mean, you guys, we all know that game is like a horde simulator. Like everywhere you go to, they just find the best way to throw like 200 enemies at you at one time. And most of the time, if I'm struggling with a certain area, by that last time where I finally beat it, I only have like 2 rounds left in my pistol or whatever. Because see, I make it harder on myself, right? Like to me, I have the most fun when I'm just using the handgun. I don't even
Oh.
use. I'll switch the shotgun if I need to or something like that. But the like the AK-47 in that game, it's so bad to aim.
I don't like it. Yeah.
It's terrible. And like the grenade, like the I forgot what you call like a grenade launcher almost. That can be okay.
The
Like if you have
hammer,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, the weapons, especially in the first one, are like not as fun to use. They're definitely, like Emma was saying, every game has definitely improved on those mechanics. And when you get to Uncharted 4, it feels like current gen, obviously, because it still looks
Well,
current gen, considering it came out in 2016. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, it's Naughty Dog, right? I mean, anything they
Mhm.
do is like 2 generations early.
Bro.
Yeah.
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 Very, very impressive. They had great games. You know what also is a great series of games, and I mentioned it before when we first started the episode, is Resident Evil.
Oh, I thought you were
Right?
going to say Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption. Okay.
Oh, Red Dead. Oh, yeah, Red Dead is great.
Yeah.
Red
That's fine with
Dead,
me.
That's
I'll
a-
talk about that.
Red Dead is phenomenal. I'm playing through the first one again now on Xbox, and I haven't really gotten that far into it because I'm playing Final Fantasy 16, and that
Mhm.
boring ass game
Did
is
you
taking up
finish
so
it?
much of my time. What is that? Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah.
Wait,
Did you
what's
finish
the
it
boring-
already?
What boring ass game? Wait, which one's the boring game?
Final Fantasy 16 is one of the most boring
it's
games
boring.
I've ever played in my
Oh.
life.
No, okay, no.
No.
You need to know what's happening here. So what happens in that game is that you have like some huge set pieces, right? And then between these huge set
Hmm.
pieces, like the game kind of feels the need to drag it out of it, right? Make
Yeah.
you
So
calm
I
down,
did
do-
play the demo. I did play the
Mhm.
demo. So I did think that
So,
it
yeah.
was a little bit long at some points, the cutscenes and things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking about
But
the
it was
cutscenes.
amazing, though.
Yeah, no, it was great. We are talking about like the chores that it makes you do sometimes.
Okay.
It's really like, okay, so you just fucking killed a god. So now what I need you to do is go to the market. Also, I kill a bunch of wolves. Also, sit around like 10-minute long cutscenes, but are not even the cool cutscenes, but are the ones that are just sitting around and talking. So Dylan right now, I feel, is going through a part that is boring. Because sometimes after he's done with a huge boss fight, he sends me messages going, "Dude, forgot everything I said. FF16 is awesome."
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it because I'm not one of those, to the surprise of everyone's disbelief. I don't need explosions and shooty bang bang to keep me inclined. One of my favorite shows of all time is Better Call Saul, which is in the Breaking Bad universe. I love Breaking Bad, but that's another show that doesn't have a lot of action, and I like more drama filled shows and things like that. But when I'm playing a game, right, and you have me do this larger than life boss sequence, this awesome fight, I got to use the capability. I mean, I am a god, right? I have all these abilities. And then you have me looking for shards of metal in the middle of nowhere. I fight like two wolves that I beat within 5 seconds. I come back, I complete a quest. Then you're over here telling me to go grocery shopping and bring food back for the to my hideaway. I go there, I do that, I come back over here. Then I talk about what the next part of the plan is. Then I do a couple more chores. Then I go hunt a couple things. Then I come back. Then I buy this, and it's just.
And then you have the history.
It gets very.
With
like every game is repetitive, right? Like every game is repetitive. But
because those things are fine if they're kind of things that you can optionally do. Say like if you want to go off and like be hunting and collecting stuff, that's fine. I personally hate collecting stuff. I don't really like it. I'm very impatient, I think, as well. So I feel like that would probably frustrate me. But I just remember from playing the demo of Final Fantasy 16, I thought it was really, really good. Like I really enjoyed the combat. I thought it was an epic kind of intro to it. So I definitely want to play it at some point, but I can understand where the frustration is coming in, because I feel like I might also find that a little bit frustrating.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree as well. Like, I might be a bit more positive about it, but there are parts that drag. There are parts that, like no joke. At some point, when I know that we're in a phase that nothing interesting is happening, like I open my laptop up and sort of like watching a YouTube video while these guys are talking about whatever.
Okay.
And then you get into the side quests, and it's even worse. I mean, certain side quests have like interesting stories, but dude, they talk way too. Like I don't give a shit. And I'm not an impatient kind of guy. Like I honestly, when speaking about movies, I usually like more movies that are whose plots are more moved by dialogue, right? So, but this is just the most boring ass fucking dialogue and the most predictable stories, the most bland side characters I've ever seen. Like, and honestly, and like even the voice acting, which I think is pretty solid, does not carry it. So you can sound as charming as you want. I don't care as long as you're telling me, oh yeah, they think that I'm a monster just because I'm branded. I wish there was a way to overcome that. And like it's just, and it's that like 50 times over. You do get cool loot. You do get cool loot though.
Loot.
Yeah, you do. Right? That's what I want.
Yeah. Well, so again, Emma hasn't played it, so we'll kind of keep that conversation to another one. But really, honestly, when I said it was boring, I was really just trying to get a rile out of you, Jan, and I didn't get the expression from you as much as I wanted. Because I honestly, well, see the thing, I actually don't think it's boring. I'm actually having some decent time with it. I'm having a decent time with it. But I do find myself a lot like you, though. Like when there's dialogue is going on, I am looking at my phone. I'm checking Twitter. I'm doing whatever. I might even be watching one of Emma's videos on my phone while this is going on, because it's just like it's just so boring. It sometimes it really is like it when you compare again. We compare it to other games in the entry. We in the series, and it's like it's just. I don't know. It's got some boring moments, but it is quality through and through. I mean, it does. I just think there's a few things that I think they took out from like the Final Fantasy formula. I mean, Emma, have you played any Final Fantasy games before? Have you?
No, that's the thing. I was like, I haven't played Final Fantasy, like any of those games. So, I do have Final Fantasy VII Remake. I do have, because I think It's part of the
That's
PS
a good one.
Plus subscription
It is.
Yeah.
premium tier.
It,
So
it is
have
or it
it.
was. Yes.
Yeah, so I definitely I'd be interested in playing that because obviously that's like a popular one as
Oh
well.
yeah.
But no,
Mm.
this is my first kind of experience of Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy 16, I was like, oh, this is amazing! Like this is great. So I definitely want to play it at some point. But I was definitely going to wait till it, comes down in price a little bit, because it's kind of rare for me to buy a brand new game, unless I'm really dying to play it. So I'll definitely wait for a little bit of a
Probably for the
sale
best.
if it ever comes around.
Right.
And I totally recommend to play 7 Remake in the meantime. Much better
Okay.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Bill Seconds being this one.
Very, very. Yeah. I think you would love. I think you would love it. Just seeing your style and how you've played these other games. I feel like that you would really like this one because it's got its darker moments, but a lot of times it's just really you're just vibing in this world. I mean, and we haven't even seen the entire world yet. Final Fantasy VII is huge, but just where the game is located in this one, the setting in this one is really interesting. It's fun, and I just had a fun time my entire playthrough. And that game, I was telling Jan about this last week. Is that I felt that the side quests in that game can be kind of monotonous and repetitive, but at the same time, I guess because you're so infatuated with everything else that I'm honestly okay, I'm fine with going.
Are you talking about 16 or 7 Remake?
7 remake,
Okay,
and that one,
okay.
I feel like I enjoyed my time doing the very monotonous quests as opposed to in 16 because I just find 16 and its characters not as interesting as 7
Oh, yeah.
remake.
No, I agree.
That's just me.
I mean, they are good. I mean, they are good
Yeah,
characters,
yeah.
but you cannot
Yeah.
equal, the greats.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but anyway, we'll have more of that conversation. Maybe for episode 30 if we can get to
that
that
can
point.
be 30, yes.
Yeah, either that or whatever we can finish it. It's a long ass game. I'm like 3/4 of the way through, and I still have plenty of shit to do. So
Now, if I understood where you're at, you're pretty close to the end. Because by the end, there's just it's sort of like a rush to the end.
oh, okay,
Yeah, so it's
good deal. Well, then we'll have that episode soon. Then I guess so. But yeah. So all right. Well, that's interesting that you never really got into Final Fantasy before, Emma. I like Jan's recommendation. Final Fantasy VII Remake is I think it's a great start. I think it has everything that you'd want in that half action gameplay, and then it has the old turn-based style that they've had in the series before that, which I think is a good combination.
I think it's a great mix of the old and the new when it comes to Final Fantasy, right?
Cool. Nice.
Yep.
So that's my homework. So I'm going to start playing.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you want to come back, that and The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
You got to pick a side.
Right.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah, we'll see.
as far as your channel goes and things like that, just my curiosity is a lot of do you play any games on your downtime, or the games you're playing on your channel? Is that kind of quote unquote your downtime, or when you play games?
Yeah, no, I do play games off channel as well. So, like most recently, I was playing kind of a story game called Tell Me Why. I think it's by Don't Nod Studios. It's the same studio that does Life is Strange and which I've never played Life is Strange, but that's what they're probably best known for. And they also made Vampire. So I played and loved Vampire. And then I think Tell Me Why is just because it was on Game Pass. And I was like, oh yeah, I fancy playing, a kind of cozy game on the couch. So so that's why I've been playing recently. So that's a very slow, kind of cozy, very what you call it, like an interactive film almost type of game. I'm really crap with describing types of games. And then Sekiro also, but I have not played Sekiro in a few months. So I find with Sekiro, I take literal months of gaps between bosses because it's just so much. It's just too much. At some points, I just need to take a step back. But I've been casually playing Sekiro probably for a year now. So I don't have any I'm not I don't have a deadline for Sekiro or anything. So that's one of the games that I've been casually playing. And then I do play off channel as well. But then it depends as well. I kind of tend to cycle through different hobbies. I don't know if you do this as well, like where I'll be really into one thing and then I'll
Where
do
do we
less
have
of
other
another.
hobbies?
Yeah, like so at the moment I'm like super into reading. So I'll spend like most of my downtime reading and maybe less time gaming. But then like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, I was like super into playing a lot of gaming. I was probably playing Sekiro or something at the time and I was trying to get past a certain boss or whatever. So I was like reading a lot less, and then you might move on to another hobby altogether or whatever it is. But yeah, I tend to do that. So I'll go through like one period where I'm like gaming, and then I'll be like, I'll maybe just be gaming for the YouTube, and then I'll be like reading, and it changes. Yeah, I'm not like an everyday gamer. Like I wouldn't be gaming every day because it's too much screen time for me. I'm prone to getting headaches and stuff, so I kind of try and limit that a little bit. Yeah. What about you? How often would you be playing?
Dylan, are you gonna take this one?
Yeah, sure. I can go first. Well, I'm a lot like you in a sense that I feel like I have to, especially here as of late. With Final Fantasy 16, I've been really trying to play that a lot, mostly for the podcast here, because I know me and Jan we want to get into the juicy deets of the game and the story and everything like that. So I am trying to finish it for that. I'm having a good time though, but one of my things that I have an issue with, especially since starting this podcast, and I'm sure Jan can relate, and that's why we try to have a lot of like leeway about what we talk about, because it's really, really hard to have discussions on games that are coming out frequently, right? Like when you have a new release,
relevant.
it's just so hard. Yeah, right. Relevant. Correct. When you have so many games, these big budget releases, it's really, really hard to sit down and play. Like look at the month of October. Well, let's start in September. You got Starfield. Then you have Alone in the Dark. Then you have, well, for me, Assassin's Creed Mirage. You got Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, and the list goes on, right? And I mean, if it's just you don't have enough time to play them. So what I have to do a lot, especially here as of late, like when I finish Final Fantasy 16, like I'll go like a week or two and not really play any games. Like I'll play like I play a lot of I'm into the UFC. I love mixed martial arts and things like that. So I'll play like a few games on UFC or something. I play a couple against some people online or something like that. But other than that, like me and the wife here lately, we've been really trying to watch our diet and get into shape. So I'll try to work out. I'll hit the bag. I used to love to write. I like writing more than reading, and that's something that I've always been into. It's just coming like I'll have these ideas. So I drive an hour to my job every day. An hour there and an hour back, and my mind will start like coming up with like these like random stories, and I'm like, I used to just kind of like get that shit out of my head, but now it's like I'm honestly like making sure I get it down, because that's like some good stuff. Like for example, I was on the way to work this past week, and I was telling Jan, actually 2 weeks ago, I was telling Jan about this. I hit a deer on the way to work, and I was fine, like nothing happened to me. But it really effed up my front end really bad. And like, I had to go to work really early in the morning, like 4:00 in the morning. And so it's like completely dark outside, and I hit the deer. And when I hit the deer, I was really irritated about it, because obviously I knew that it was going to cost us a little money and things like that. But then I started like thinking of this like like the scary book, almost scary short story. And I was going to title it The Deer and have it like, and I don't want to give away all my things, because I don't want you guys to take it and take this idea from it and make millions. But in
as long as I get a signed copy,
dude, the story, I thought it was pretty neat. I was gonna call it The Deer. I hit like pretty much like my character. He hits the deer on the way to work one morning. He flies off like the edge of this roadway, and a bunch of scary, frightening things start happening to him when he falls down. And you come to find out they're hallucinations, because he had broken both of his legs and he was in and out. And so he's passing out. And it's a dark story, but I've had like this cool idea of some things I want to do. So anyway, long story short, that's kind of things I've been trying to get into, because gaming can be very, very taxing. It just can be. And now that we're adults, I mean, we all have jobs, we all have lives outside of here. I got a wife now that I try to show a lot of attention to her as well. Well, she doesn't care. She'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be playing the game. And I think really it's just like I'm glad that you're beside me and you're here with me. I don't care what you do at that time. So my wife is really, really supportive, but it gets very, very taxing trying to keep up. So I need to take plenty of breaks as well. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, definitely with like, especially with open world games, I find now it's just too overwhelming.
We kind of
there's
stop it.
just-
We kind of keep away.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know, because I suppose when I kind of got back into gaming, because I was playing a lot like games when I was a kid, and then I wasn't playing for like a big stretch, kind of most of my teenage years, and then I kind of got back into gaming as an adult, and I played Skyrim. Was like the first thing that I played, and that was, you know, obviously big open world RPG, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I played like Fallout and Red Dead 2 as well, and I was like, these are all amazing. And now I'm just like really enjoying the shorter kind of linear games,
100%.
you know, because it just can get a little bit overwhelming just with the amount of stuff that's out there, but like still amazing. Like Horizon Zero Dawn as well, amazing game, but there was definitely loads of stuff that I just did not do, like collectible stuff. There was some things that were like time trial stuff, which time trials, as a fellow prone to rager person, time trials, I don't know if this does this for you, but for me it's like the one thing that you could guarantee that I will rage at is put a timer on me. I hate when things are timed. So it's just like, but like some stuff in Horizon Zero Dawn that I outright just like never did, because I was like, nope, not for me. But it was nice because it was optional, so you could just still go off and do everything else. But yeah, some games I'm like, oh, that's going to be amazing. And Starfield I'm super excited about, but I'm still like, oh my god, at the same time. I'm gonna be like, how am I gonna get through?
Like the moment when you open the map and you see how big it is, and I just like my balls just drop when I see it.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah,
like that happened to me when I saw Hogwarts Legacy, when I played it, right? When I you know, the map opened the first time, I realized, okay, so I know there's like more on the outskirts of Hogwarts, right? Then you see how big it is, and you're like, just why, dude? What am I gonna go do in this nowhere village, right? But they find a way. Yeah, they find a. Yeah, they'll bring the best, you know, the best mathematicians of the whole country to conduct. So they conduct the most boring, mathematically the most boring side quest ever, and they'll make you go on the other edge of the map to go play it. So,
yeah, it's really fun. Well, Jan, I mean, you gotta answer Emma's question, right? I mean, what are some things that you do, like, as far as like, because I mean, you help me run a podcast here, so I mean, what is a hobby you do? Right. What are some things you do that takes you away from, you know, that you have to get away from gaming every once in a while? You know, take a little break.
Okay. So I'm kind of a nerd, so most of my hobbies are in that area. So I like reading. Both novels and comics, and I do find, you know, that I think about it, what Emma said, I feel that how fluctuating through hobbies. Like, you know, there are some periods where I'm not gaming as much, but I don't know, I just found out about this author, right? I remember when I found out about Murakami, oh boy, you know, I just speed read through like 5 of his novels, like in a week, right? And that's probably not that impressive from like a bookworm, but I'm not that much of a bookworm. Or I found out about a new comic book, like a new manga or whatever. Also I kind of put gaming on the side, but I feel like gaming is what I do mostly. I feel like it's just the most versatile hobby out of them all. It's you know, 2 things that I'm very passionate about are stories and games in any you know, in any form except sports. And video games kind of, they not only do they join these 2 things together, but they also find a way to tell stories in a very unique way. You know, games have a chance to do that, and they also have a way to make you play in a way that, you know, that's very fused with the narrative. It's a unique way to play and a unique way to tell a story. So that's why I almost always go back to games. But
yeah, because it's fulfilling the fantasy of wanting to be in the story and like be the person who gets to do all the cool shit and have magic powers and be awesome. And
I'm actually there. That's true. So did I answer it for you? That's what I do. That's what my life's all about. And sometimes I even get out of the house, like right now. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I know, shameful. but
Where is that?
yeah, I sometimes touch grass. I know.
What is that?
Not.
What is that?
What- yeah, I envy your true game.
Mhm. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think we all have to have an escape because I mean, again, it's like there's. I mean, again, my backlog for games that have come out in the past 5 to 8 years is growing substantially of stuff that I never really got to check. And the same thing goes with with movies, right? Like I'm a huge. I love horror films. I love any kind of scary movies there are. And I guess really until you really sit back and like, let's say you just go and you just you pull up IMDb or whatever, or you go on Reddit and you realize just all these movies that you've missed out on growing up that everyone says, man, you've never seen The Thing? That's a
It's the
classic.
best
Mhm.
movie ever, and
And
you're
I'm
a
like-
piece of shit if you've never seen it.
Yeah. Like where have you been? Why have you not watched these movies? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I feel you on that one. Yeah, because there's
Wow.
so many of those like classic films that I've never seen, and it's just like so awkward when people are like, "Oh, it's like this," and they reference a really famous film, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And the same with video games as well. It's like, "Oh, it's like this or that,and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't pretend that you know them. Like, yeah, of course, yes.
I'm
I played
sorry.
the game
I'm
10
sorry. I'm
times.
failing." Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
get that. Like, I think I watched The Breakfast Club for the first time ever, like
Oh yeah.
the day before yesterday. Yeah, so I'm the same way.
Mhm.
Great movie, by the way. I really like it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
going
great.
back to
I
the
have seen
movies
that
that are
one.
support. Yes, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a good
movies that are
movie.
supported by mostly by not as much by action, but by dialogue. You know, that's one of them. I really like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good movie. There's actually a new movie coming out. I'm actually probably going to go see it opening weekend called Oppenheimer. You guys seen the trailers
Oh
for
yeah,
that?
of course.
That looks
Yes,
that looks
the Oppenheimer Barbie
phenomenal.
debate. So
Yeah.
if you're watching Oppenheimer rather than Barbie,
No, you have to go see both on the same day as
They say,
what I
"Oh,
heard.
Emma, you just won so many points just by saying that." Because I completely
Yeah,
agree.
that's what we're all supposed to do now. So you're not allowed to just see one; you have to see
Mm.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you
Yeah.
watch Oppenheimer, you're supposed to, wear very casually. You gotta wear like a sweatshirt, something like that. Some tennis shoes, and then you go to the bathroom, you change into something classy, like a suit, like a bow tie, and you go
Mhm.
watch Barbie. That's how you
Yes.
do it.
Yes, I wear something pink.
Come on, though. Oh yeah, of course, of course. Well, I mean, my suit is pink. I don't know about you guys, but
Okay. I got you. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure they're both going to be great movies in their own right, but I will not say anything about the Barbie movie because I refuse to.
Come on.
Why?
Come on. Haven't you seen
I
the
can't.
meme? There's like this great meme. It's like I think it's Ryan Gosling, right? Like in a movie theater, and he's like laughing and all. And it says me when I watch Oppenheimer for the laughs, and fun time, and he's laughing. And then on the next shot, is him looking very serious, very pondering. And he says, what me watching Barbie for the serious cinema, and
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I think I'll skip that one. But anyway, so I'm not going to be a part of that trend,
Oppenheimer,
but
right?
but-
I mean, Barbie caused a worldwide shortage of pink paint.
That's
It was
what I
that
heard.
mega.
that's what I
like,
heard. Yeah.
So it's going to be
No, I didn't
a
hear
mega
about this.
production.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
it all
that
on
was
Twitter, yeah.
apparently a real thing that caused a shortage
Nice.
of pink paint
Pink,
for all the set design and everything. But yeah, I mean, I just think like there's just too many. There's almost too many famous people in it. It's like the cast is crazy. The
Mhm.
set design is going to be unreal. The costumes are going to be unreal. I don't have a clue what the story is.
Mhm.
Haven't a clue. I'm not so interested in the story really. I'm like, I
Yeah,
just
that's
want to go
thing.
see it for the absolute like spectacle it's going to be and like the
Yeah.
amazing cast. And then Oppenheimer as well. I don't really know too much about it, so I think it's fun to just go to the cinema when you don't actually know too much about
Mhm.
the film and just like
That's true.
just go and see it for what it is, because
Right.
trailers definitely show too much, I think.
Way too
Oh yeah.
much.
Honestly, everything I learn about movies is from like memes. Like what I know from Oppenheimer is that it's directed by Christopher Nolan, and he
Mhm.
really likes to use when he can, he'll avoid using special effects. He'll actually shoot the thing. And I don't know. There was like an example, like in a movie, there's like a really difficult scene. He could have done with effects, but he actually did something. I don't know what it was. It's like he crashed a real boat or some shit like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And there are like a bunch of memes around that like he's actually like from the filming of his movie, he actually detonated like a nuclear bomb for the shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who knows if it's true?
I mean, it just
Yeah.
might be.
I guess
mean,
we
it's
won't
kino,
if we're
right? It's
dead,
cinema.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope not. No, I just think the intrigue alone, and that's like you were talking about the cast of Barbie, Emma. I mean, that the cast in Oppenheimer is ridiculous. I mean, Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt. They got the guy from. I think I asked Jan this. I'm gonna ask you this, Emma. Have you seen The Boys on Amazon Prime? Have you watched The Boys?
Yes. Yes. And
It's-
finally, I'm up to date with that as well. So
Oh.
I've seen the third season. I think it was. Yeah.
Fantastic show. But
So
the
good.
guy that plays Huey, he's
Oh,
also in
yeah.
Oppenheimer as well. And I don't remember what his name is right this second.
Jack
Jack something.
Quaid.
That's
McQuaid.
it.
Quaid.
That's it. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So he's in there as well. And then I mean, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. I forgot about him. He's in Oppenheimer
Yeah.
as
He's
well.
in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was he
because
playing Adam Bomb?
I saw something today. I think IGN tweeted that Robert Downey Jr. said that it was the best film he's ever been in, and he wants everyone to go see it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just saw that
All
today
right.
when I was scrolling. It's like, oh,
Well, if an
okay.
actor playing in the movie says that, then I just gotta watch it. Then it's gotta be true, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Like I used to be. Jan knows this, Emma, but I'm a huge The Walking Dead fan. Well, that's one of the reasons why
Mhm.
I came up the Deadhead podcast. That was one of the reasons why I named it that, because I love The Walking Dead. And Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl on that show, every season that came out, whenever somebody interviewed him, he'd be like, "This is the best season we've ever done. And then it'd be like season 7. This is the best season we've ever done. Season 8. We do literally nothing you've seen before. This is gonna be like the penultimate season." And you go to each one, and not that any of them are bad, right? I will defend The Walking Dead. I understand it got pretty
There's
shit
definitely
towards the
some-
end.
Even season
There's
11?
definitely pieces of seasons that have dragged for me. I couldn't
for
tell you
sure.
which bits, but yeah,
For sure.
I'm not complete. I actually haven't finished it. The very last
Right.
season, I'm not totally up to date, but I think I've
Probably
seen.
for the best.
I think I've seen up to
Yeah.
season 10 or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine. Honestly, you can stop watching right there. You're probably fine.
Yeah,
But-
but I need to know what happens. It's like Lost. I need to know what happens.
Yeah, no, I respect that. It's
I-
the quest for truth, the quest
Yeah,
for knowledge.
Just yeah.
I can literally tell you in 30 seconds what happens for the rest
Do
of
not.
season 10 and then season 11, and the show ends. And I can literally tell you.
Then if you do that, I would spoil Oppenheimer right now. I'll spoil the entire plot of Oppenheimer.
You wouldn't. You haven't seen it.
Oh,
Well, I
dear,
mean,
oh, dear.
it's a history drama. Everything that happens in the movie actually happened.
I said 30 seconds, Jan. I didn't say 30 minutes. Like, I don't even know 30 seconds. I really say 15 seconds.
Okay, no,
Right
but
now, I think it's
I
like
want to
30.
struggle. I want to struggle on to the end and find out myself.
Okay.
I want
I respect that.
closure, like I got from the finale of Lost.
Mm.
I'm
That's a
I
tough
haven't
one.
seen it, but it sounds
there was
bad.
there was
It's
no closure.
it's the last
And-
4 seasons of The Lost are like, it's almost like they forgot what the fuck to do. Like they don't really, they almost forgot what they were doing like midway through writing the show. It's really, it's crazy to me. It's
Okay.
What are we doing again? What show is this? Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I was
Something
writing a
about
different
The
show.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
We're
But,
talking about
Daryl.
Lost.
Daryl is getting his own spin-off.
Yep. I'll be
Yeah.
watching it. Yep, definitely. I got to.
Yeah.
I have to. I
I
have
love
to.
him.
Yeah.
I love
I ha-
him, but I do think I'm
Yeah.
a little bit like, isn't his character a little bit done to death?
It is. Yep. I agree. I agree.
Are we
He-
talking
I
he-
still love him though.
we're talking about Daryl from The Walking Dead. So he's the
Right.
I know
Oh.
you've seen him. He has the
Is he-
long hair, like it's like in his face all the time.
Yeah,
know
he
what I'm
rides the motorbike. He rides the motorbike and he has the
Okay.
cool.
He has the angel wings on his back.
Not Rick Grimes, not Negan, not the black guy.
No.
There's
No.
only one guy who rides a motorbike. Is this helping?
Well, I
this
guess I
gesture?
haven't gotten there. I got to the point. I mean, I've barely seen Michonne, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave it at that then.
You definitely know if you
Yeah,
saw
eventually
his
will.
picture.
Might
You'd be
not.
like,
Okay,
oh,
we'll
that
look
guy.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, look it
Just
up.
looking at it
What's his
from
name? What's his name?
Daryl.
first-
Daryl, The Walking Dead. Just type in
I
Daryl,
mean,
The Walking Dead. and
the
she'll come up.
name is familiar.
Okay. Well, yeah. You'll.
Daryl.
Oh yeah, I'm best friends with that guy, of course. That's Norman Reedus.
Yeah, that's right. What have you
Mm.
seen him in?
Death Stranding.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
right. I forgot
haven't
about
played
that.
yet, but I want to. Yes.
Dude, so much
Yeah.
intrigue, and it's a game that's a game right there that I think nobody gave it the chance in the world. I'm glad I did because it was like one of the most like moving experiences I ever
It's
had towards the
unique.
end there. It's really really awesome. I really had a good time with that game.
Mm.
And
It's
we're getting
different
Death
though.
Stranding 2, baby. So
Oh, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, Death Stranding 2
no,
looks
yeah,
awesome.
they announced it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what are we
yeah,
talking about again?
that's definitely on my list to play for sure, Death Stranding. But that's something I will do definitely in my downtime.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, like, Emma, I'm not saying that you can't do a walkthrough on that, but it's so difficult because there's a lot of like just walking and walking and walking
Yeah.
for like.
That's like perfect
mean-
for like if you're a streamer, right? You can Twitch
Yeah.
stream it. I think like having a chat there really helps you out. You just push the analog stick forward, read some comments. No, I'm kidding. It's not like that.
No, it's not like that at all,
It's
man.
not.
because-
If only we're like that. Yeah. If
yeah,
only.
yeah. That's the thing. Like when people are like, "Oh, it's just a walking simulator. All you do is push up on the stick." No, you
Bro,
don't.
have you
Like,
ever walked in your life?
if
That's
you
not
have
it.
if you have like, let's say you gotta have an order and you have like 5 or 6 packages on your back, what it is like you have to hold down the left trigger and the right trigger, L2 and R2, and like hold the packages tight as you can to your back and walk, because if you let go you start like losing balance, and that's one of the funniest things ever. You can go on YouTube and look at compilations of like people of like just falling over, and it's hilarious. It's really funny.
And then
yeah.
And then there's like different equipment you can take with you, but like the equipment actually weights you down because you actually physically have it on your back. So you can like bring stuff like ladders to help you out, but until you use them, they're kind of making your life a bit harder. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it does. I appreciate it. I don't enjoy it specifically, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
It's truly I would say it's more of it sounds corny, but it's more of an experience, right? It's not really a game you just get on and play. You have to put the time into it because there's a lot of, and the story is not as confusing as what everyone was making out to be either. Like I feel like I followed it pretty well. I think it was like one part I had to Google, but other than that, it's it's not too bad to follow. I'll be honest with you, I'm having a harder time following Final Fantasy 16 right now than I am Death
you
Stranding.
clearly haven't not been, you haven't been keeping up with what's his face, the old guy, the wise man.
That's right.
It starts with an H.
Yeah, right. Hephaestus or whatever.
It's not Hephaestus. No, it's Huffo.
Okay, whatever. It's all right.
Hephostocles. Testicles. I don't know, something like that.
Testicles. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. But yeah, so it's Death Stranding is one of those. Definitely, I wouldn't stream. But on that subject, though, Emma, I mean, like, is streaming something you would be into in the future, or do you think the gameplay videos is more of the direction of where you're gonna stay for a while?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to streaming at some point. I don't know when that might happen, but yeah, I would definitely be open to doing it. I think what I like about recording is that I'm not on a schedule, like, whereas with streaming, I think you do have to kind of stick to a certain day and time. And at the moment, I'm kind of just enjoying like being like, oh yeah, I have time on this day, I'll record this day, and then also being able to edit it afterwards and stuff like that. I think I would be very anxious kind of streaming and being live, but I know that you just kind of have to get on and do it and see how you get on. But yeah, no, it's definitely something I'm looking into. I would definitely like to do that at some point, because I think that you can, like you were saying, Johan, like you can play kind of different games that are better for streaming. And yeah, I could maybe, play something that's completely different, and then you maybe don't have to commit to a full playthrough of something from start to finish. You can kind of try different things out a little bit. I don't know, yeah, because some other games that I like are a bit more slower paced, and I like some CRPGs and things like that as well. So I was like, that I could probably maybe try out if I was streaming or something. But yeah, no plans to do it right now, but just definitely thinking about it. Yeah. And then I would probably just do it on YouTube, because that's where my channel is. And
yeah, smartest thing.
Yeah, I'd consider that too. Like I was trying to, so we're streaming, and I think I made a couple posts about this, and if you're watching this, I'm sure you already know, but we're streaming live to Twitch, our Facebook fan page, as well as our YouTube channel. which will also be available after the fact as well. So when we end this current episode, you can go back and watch the entire thing on our YouTube channel. It will be under the playlist Deadhead Podcast. I have been trying, and I've been failing miserably, which was going to lead me to my next question for you, Emma. But like, I have a hard time finding the time to cut up the streams and repost segments on YouTube Shorts or TikTok. I have a really, really hard time doing that because it's just finding the time to do it. So my question for you is that what is the process for you when it comes to editing your videos? Do you have like a whole day plan where you're like, okay, I'm off today, well, whatever you do, I'm off today, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna like edit videos? Or are you pretty fast at doing it where you can record and then edit later? I mean, how was that process for you? Because for me, I can sometimes do it on the same day because I do like a lot of gameplay discussions. I'll do TV show, movie discussions, things like that. And having the time to edit those is really difficult. So, I mean, how's that process for you? Is it like that, or is it a lot easier on your front?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the game, I have to say. Some games you have to record for a lot longer and cut it down to make an episode. So, for example, like Uncharted, I know if I record for an hour, I'm going to have a full episode of 50 minutes or something like that, or an hour or whatever, depending on if I need to cut boring bits out where I'm lost or something. But, in a linear game like that, it's a lot easier. With Resident Evil, I was recording between 2 and 2.5 hours to get a 50-minute episode. So that was a bit more time consuming on the editing side of things. So yeah, I think I kind of try and do, it kind of changes depending on my mood. So like if I record, I might spend the rest of the day editing. Like I find that I actually get more tired if I'm recording a lot. So I'll probably record max 2 episodes the same day because I find my energy just drops. And then I'll just do some editing then instead, and that's fine. And then it depends on like if because I have kind of a schedule. It's like, okay, do I have a video ready for Thursday? Do I have a video ready for Sunday? Like, do I need to record it? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need the video in like 2 days or one day. I'm like, okay, I need to record it and edit it today. So it kind of depends because I find I feel like I'm a little bit moody of like, do I feel like recording today? Do I feel like having a lazy edit day? It kind of changes from week to week. And that's, again, what I was saying about like streaming being very like, you'd have to kind of commit to a regular time and schedule. Whereas like I find my mood changes and my energy levels change all the time. So I kind of have to be in the mood for it.
No, that's right. You always you got to be in the mood for it. I mean, it kind of goes back to what Jan was talking about before, right? And it's something that I struggle with is that when you start looking at this as like, I mean, okay, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like when you're editing videos, when you're making videos, when you're doing the Deadhead podcast, right? When you're doing things like that, you kind of have to look at it as, okay, this is kind of a job. I'm not getting paid for it, but I have to put the work in because if I'm not, at least for me, like if I don't put that kind of work in, I will lose interest and I won't make the content and I can't be the guy that comes on here and can talk about whatever. I mean, Emma's new to the Deadhead podcast, and I hope that she's got a good vibe from both of us, that we do a good job of carrying this thing because I know that I really try hard. There's a meme of, and we have this, there's like this sports talk show and that's called Undisputed on ESPN. And there are 2 hosts and it's a guy named Shannon Sharp. And then there's another person named Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is like a journalist, and then Shannon Sharp used to be like a pro football player a few years ago. Anyway, he was leaving the show, and one of the things he said to the guy before he left was he was crying when he said it, and it was supposed to be a sentimental moment, but people memed the shit out of it because what he says to the guy is, "I just want you to know when you put your head on that pillow at night, just know I gave you all I had." Well, anyway, people started making memes about it, like sexual innuendo memes and everything else, like making fun of the stuff that he was saying. But I also, and that's like the funny part of it, but like I have to give it my all if I'm doing stuff like this, because if not, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the people that do come and watch the channel. I mean, the channel's grown substantially since we started this thing. I'm very proud of the work we've accomplished on here, and I think a lot of that has to do with me and Jan's chemistry. I think it also has to do with the time that I've tried to put into editing. But an issue that I have is because of my work schedule, and I don't work like 7 days a week or anything like that. This past week was a little different, but like on my days off, because work is just so taxing, it's hard to commit the time into making videos. Like I remember one day I was like, I want to take the entire day. The next day at the time, I was like, I want to take this entire day and not do anything. I'm not playing video games. I'm just going to sit there and I'm just going to watch TV all day, and I'm not going to do shit. So I recorded like 3 videos in a row, and my voice was killing me, and I could barely talk the next day. And a lot of it was I was doing this long ass video breaking down an episode of the Walking Dead spinoff show that they got called Dead City. And I recorded that video, and it was like 35 minutes long, where I was just breaking down scene by scene, talking about things I like, dislike, things like that. By the time I got through it, I was like, man, I'm doing all this and my voice is killing me. Like, what is really driving me? And I think what it comes down to is that when you have the passion and you have things that you really want to accomplish in life, you'll do it no matter if it hurts, right? And it's really hard to do sometimes. So it's like, that's why I was curious about your editing and things like that, because I know how taxing it can be, and not really having the adequate amount of time to do it. So I commend you for being able to record a couple videos at a time. Sometimes I've got to the point now I almost don't even do that anymore, because it's just getting to the point where it's getting a bit rough. And like, you'll be like, honestly, you're like your worst enemy most of the time, because you're like, why am I putting all this hard work? Like, and I know I'm kind of going on here, but there's a video I posted on the Deadhead 96 channel of what makes a good Final Fantasy game. And I was kind of going through the different games, and I had gameplay for Final Fantasy 10, for Final Fantasy 1, and I kind of talked about different things that 16 doesn't do that other games do, and I kind of compare and contrast. I wasn't really putting down 16. I was just kind of just talking about that. And by the time I finished that, I was like, why did I put all this effort into a video that I feel like it's not even, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like it's not going to hit. I don't feel like it's really going to speak to people like that. But after I made my thumbnail and I posted it, I was just like, you know what? I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that video. So even if no one cares about it, I'm very proud of the work that I put in. So anyway, I know it's a long spiel, but it's stuff like that that I'm learning as someone who's you know, we're getting deeper into the Deadhead podcast and then Deadhead 96 channel. It's things like that I'm trying to understand it. Sometimes you won't always see the rewards of the things that you accomplish, but you should be proud of the things you do. And you're doing, you know, I don't know if you need to hear this from us over here at the Deadhead 96 channel, Deadhead podcast, but you're doing a great job on your channel. Your channel has grown since we have followed you, because I think when I subbed to your channel, I mean, I could be wrong. I think you were like 500 subscribers or something. I can't remember, but to see that much growth in that short amount of time is really stellar. So I said all that to say, I hope that was somewhat inspiring, but it's just a lot. It's a lot to do this kind of thing. So I commend that's why I like having other people that do this kind of thing on the show, because it's good to talk about this stuff, because it's taxing. It's a lot.
Yeah, it definitely, it takes time to do it, you know, so like it takes hours to record, because you're like, it's all the stuff that happens before you record, all the preparation, and then you're recording, and then you have to have your kind of energy levels right for that, and then it's the editing, and then it's the uploading and the thumbnails and the social media side of it as well. So I do find lately I've just been less and less on social media, because I'm just like, I'm just too tired. I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it. But so far, like, and still enjoying like recording the episodes, editing them, and getting them up. And like, if I do have a day where I'm just like, I'm too tired to do something, then I might, you know, just skip a week or something. That's okay too. You know, you have to give yourself a bit of a break.
Yeah.
At some time.
Yeah, that's right. And when it starts to not be like you know, kind of go back what Jan was saying earlier about if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying it, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, and I think that's how I've been with like Final Fantasy 16 for a little while. You know, we talked about last week. If it gets to a point where I'm not really having fun, I start questioning, why am I playing it? Because it's just it's just my life, my time is so precious right now. Like it's like in you know, to get into my a little bit of my personal stuff. I mean, my wife and I, we're trying to start a family, so I know that time that I have that's free is going to be like cut tremendously short.
Yeah.
And so like I'm trying to enjoy my time because eventually I'm not to say I won't have time, but it's going to be harder. I'm going to have a screaming baby in my lap probably while I'm trying to play a game. And so I'm trying to enjoy the peace and quiet while I have it, but it's just but when I'm sitting there and doing nothing, I have to do something. I got to like, I found that a lot of my videos I've made is just because I've been bored and I'm like, okay, fine, let me just fire up the camera and just talk about something that really hits home with me. So that's a lot of my videos.
Yeah.
So it could be a double-edged sword, but it really is cool when you could look back and see all that. I mean, like even if you go as far as like the Deadhead podcast, I mean, like we've made 28 of these episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no easy feat. A lot of people give up after 3. You know what I mean? We haven't given up, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's hard. It's like, man, I gotta do the next episode, and man, I'm just like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Yesterday, like, and I appreciate you, especially you, Jan. I know, man, you run this thing, but as you as well, Emma, that we were supposed to do the show yesterday, but I needed a day, like I had to, like I could not be like enjoyable to be around for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and be like how I was yesterday because I was so out of it. So it's one of those things, but. I'm really enjoying where we're at, and it's been a lot of fun having people on this, and this has been a good episode as well. I hope you feel the same way, Emma. It's been good.
yeah, I've had a lot of fun. Like it's just it's really nice atmosphere you have here, and like it's nice that it's you're free flowing. You're kind of able to talk about lots of different things, and I suppose that's what's fun about having different people on or a different topic on each podcast, and like maybe sometimes it's hard to come up with those ideas, but that keeps it interesting then because you're like, oh, this week we're going to talk about whatever it is, Final Fantasy or this and that, and keeps it interesting, doesn't it? So, no, I've had a really good time, so I found it really easy to chat with both of you, and this is the first time we've ever talked to each other, by the way, for anyone listening. Yes,
that's right.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, and that's the thing, like it's sometimes like we've had guests that have come on and like you watch their videos of their streams and they're like really energetic and really happy, and we've had them on the show and they've been it's still great, mind you. All of our guests have been phenomenal, but they're like you're trying to get them out of that shell that they were in their streams, and they're not quite there because it's always weird when you come on to a show that you've never been on before. You don't know us at all. We don't know you. You don't know how it's going to go, but like, that's why we try to be open, right? We have all of our episodes on YouTube. So I was hoping that, if you were inclined to go back and take a look and see what all we talk about. I mean, there was one episode where me and Jan talked about scary stories for like half the episode.
That's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
That episode.
But it was a good time. It was fun. Like it was random. It wasn't even like, I don't even think we.
It wasn't Halloween. I don't think.
No. It was
so
just
it wasn't like themed at all.
Yeah. It was really cool, and that was like one of my favorite episodes. A lot of those times when we talk about just life or just things that we see and go through, like when I started out that episode telling Jan about this ghost encounter that I swear to goodness I saw it in my house, and nobody believes me. I think Jan believed me, but I don't think anybody.
Well, I believe that you believe what you saw.
Well, okay,
that's where I put it.
I want to go back and watch this episode now.
you were literally the husband in every horror movie ever, like in the haunted house stuff. Like,
what does the husband do?
The husband is always like, the wife will be going like not crazy, but she's seeing dead people. She's seeing ghosts, and the husband's like, "You're just crazy. That's not really happening." And
I know. I just said I believe you. I believe that you believe it.
That's shitty though.
But I wasn't there. How can I give my input on it?
I believe
that you believe. That's enough.
See, that sounds
like the best I can get. Well, what else can I do, Dylan? Honestly.
Well, I
would do like a hate my wife joke here, but I don't have them. I don't know. I have to. I gotta get a few years behind me.
Emma, tell me that doesn't sound shitty, right? Like I believe that you believe.
Oh,
that you
look at
saw
the
a ghost.
time, and that's
Oh,
all, folks. I gotta go.
No. Listen, that's the number
Come on,
one
Dylan,
rule.
never
Oh,
allow.
If you bring
Jesus.
on a guest, when we bring on a guest, they have to answer the tough questions, and this is a
Ooh,
tough one.
you gotta pick your sides, okay? Yeah.
No, I mean you don't have to pick sides. But tell me that doesn't sound crappy. I believe
I mean,
that you believe. that
it's
you
not
saw
the
a ghost.
same. It's definitely not the same as I full on believe you. But
Because it's not.
again,
Because
if you're
I
believing
don't.
someone else's ghost story, it
Mhm.
definitely takes a lot of trust and faith that
Yeah.
I think you'd
I
have to
mean-
be very open to those things.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of, if it's true, it kind of shatters my entire worldview. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that it's not. I'm not saying that it's
Right.
not true. I'm fully open to the idea of it being real.
Mhm.
But I mean, I can't just take it at face value, right? Like if I don't know, if I come here like next episode and tell you, oh, Dylan, you know what happened last night? I met Joe Biden and I took his mask off and he was a fucking reptilian. Like, what are you gonna do, right?
I believe that you believe that.
Exactly. What else can you do? That's like the best thing you can ever say.
We'll be on Twitter being like, Joe Biden is a reptile or
Hashtag Joe Biden. But yeah, when we put splices of this video, hashtag Joe Biden. Hashtag I don't know.
Oh, so tell me
Democracy is a sham.
if we end up cutting. So if we cut up this episode, I'll cut up that particular part and I'll tag him in it and see.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, do that.
See
Do
if
that.
it takes
He doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure. I don't think he.
if he
looks at
takes it
Twitter
down,
that
it's canon. Well, not him, but his minions.
There
Yeah,
you
right.
go. Now,
There's a
Mhm.
conspiracy here.
Catch-22. What are you going to do, Joe? Yeah, if you
Mm.
take it down, then it's true. If you like it, then it's true. What you gonna do?
Yeah, give
And
him
if
an
you let it
ultimatum.
spread, it just gives it just gives it more power. So
Mhm.
your move
This-
now. Check me.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely a following for that kind of thing out there, for sure.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
conspiracy pages and stuff. I'm sure there's one. There's probably already one that Joe Biden is a reptile or
It's
whatever
whatever.
it is.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, just look at him. But that's besides the point.
Mhm.
All
In
right,
50
so
years, we'll probably be all over that shit. I mean, I know I will.
well, I mean, and nobody would really blame you. I don't think, right? I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense if he was, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool, I guess.
Just put it in the news.
Well,
It's a bit like first page news. It's like in a corner there. Oh yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. If the truth ever comes out, we'll be like, oh, we knew it back then. Look at this. Look at this live
And-
stream we have up on YouTube. We said it back then.
We said it.
2023.
Yeah, and our nephews be like, all right, grandma, all right. No,
Yeah.
We called it.
I knew it.
Hashtag we knew it.
Mm.
It's been 84 years.
So before we get out of here for the day, I do have one more question for both, really a topic conversation to end it off here. And talking about conspiracies and if Joe Biden's a lizard or whatever made me start thinking about this, and it's kind of random. Do you
Okay.
guys
Should.
believe? Do you guys believe in aliens?
Oh yeah. How could you not?
Right? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me hear some explanations. Well, why? Like why?
Well, the
Why do
same
you-
way that we were born by chance, there is a good possibility that other life forms somewhere else were also born by chance. Sorry
Oh,
if
there
I
definitely
stole
is.
your-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, why
Yeah.
not?
100%.
I mean, it would be pretty. Yeah, I mean, like imagine if we're like alone. If like we were the only intelligent life species in the
In the whole of-
entire. I mean, that's kind of
It's
lonely.
very
isn't it?
vain. Yeah, it's very vain. It's a very
Yeah.
human thought to think, actually. that
Exactly.
we're
yeah.
the only living thing in the whole
come on,
entirety of
dude.
everything. And
Exactly. It's kind of
we know
presumptuous.
we know how, like, do you know how big space is that we can't actually understand how big it is.
Mhm.
It doesn't
Mhm.
even make sense. There's shit tons
No.
of there's more planets in real life than there is in Starfield, ladies and gentlemen, okay?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there's gotta
And
be
there are
stuff.
aliens in Starfield.
I mean, we're aliens to someone else, probably. Do you know what I mean? But
That's right.
there has to
I
be.
just wish they're friendly,
Absolutely. Although I don't know
That's
if
like my own thing.
Yeah.
Do you think they're like bald and green, right? Do you think they're all like, do you think they look different than humans, is what I'm
Oh,
saying?
for sure they
Probably.
look different. Yeah, probably. Unless there's similar, I don't know,
I mean,
habitats out there
okay.
that had similar cells that developed into similar things
I
that
mean,
looked
what
like
I'm most
humans.
interested in is whether we could communicate, right? Because like this, I mean, we have a lot of conventions, right? Like we were
Mhm.
born under the sun, so we have the convention of light and dark,
Hmm.
or the colors as we see them, or the whole fact that we communicate through speech, right? Which
Mhm.
what is sound, right? It's just vibrations in the air, or whatever. So I feel like if there are somewhere out there somewhere, it's something that we cannot even imagine because we're just so deep rooted in what we believe to be the world, right?
Hmm.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it
what
does
about
make you
you,
think.
Dylan?
I mean, well, yeah, obviously, I would say, yeah, I would say I believe that they definitely exist. It's like what both of you guys are saying. I think with as huge as the universe is, how can there not be any aliens? And then, but you'll have like these super religious pricks that are like, it doesn't say that in this book, and it doesn't say that here, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
listen, like no matter what you want to believe, whether whatever, and I don't know what you practice, Emma, if you practice anything at all, but at the end of the day, these books were written
By humans.
by just dudes,
Hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
whatever. So it's what they say in there and what is actually is two different things. So I think
Yep.
it's 100%. I think there's definitely now. Are they green and bald? I don't know, but
Probably not.
I
They
would
could be
think they would.
somewhere.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, that could be like a whole like Star Wars universe somewhere. You know what I mean? That we
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
with like
about.
hot aliens. Hell yes.
Oh yeah, there's got to be
Mhm.
hot
Right.
aliens. I mean, just
Mhm.
like take Futurama for example, and just be like, canon. This is all true.
That's canon.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, let's
probably
see.
real.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope. Right.
Somewhere.
You know how people say, look at Jules Verne and go. I mean, the things he wrote is like, I mean, when he wrote this, it was science fiction. Now it's true. I hope that in 1,000 years from now, people watch Futurama and say, this is not a documentary. This was supposed to be fiction, but now we live. Now we're
Yeah.
living it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just look at like, oh, we don't want to get into the discussion about AI at this late in the game,
Well,
but like
that's
even just
not.
look at all those films about how AI is going to go crazy and take over the world and
Kill
become
us
sentient and
all.
robots and all that stuff. And even Black Mirror, like Black Mirror is like I feel
Mhm.
like one level off where we are right now. It's actually not even one level off anymore. But like when
Yeah,
Black Mirror
sometimes we were
first came
there.
out, I remember thinking, God, that's so weird, and that it feels like we're almost there with the technology. And now I feel like Black Mirror is just like actually happening. Like, it's actually where we
Yeah,
are
I
now.
mean,
So
Yeah, I was just talking about it with the wife because she had never seen any of the
an
uh
alien.
back. Oh yeah, well yeah, but Back to the Future. Have you guys seen that series at all? Back to the Future.
a long
My
time
wife
How
has
could
ago.
never
she
seen them.
not watch Back to the Future?
Okay, so I'll sum
How did
this
she
up
put a
really.
ring on it without watching?
I
Without
will
for
sum
watch?
this up really fast for you, for both of you. Her mom was very, very strict. My wife's mom, very, very strict about what she watched. She watched a lot of Disney Channel. Disney Channel, oh, she could tell you. Hannah Montana, she knows what episode, what season, what down to the minutes of like when
Like
something
where she
happened.
farted? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, where she farted. Yeah, but that's it. Like she's not. I've had to get her into other series and TV shows, things like that. She's terrible with it. But anyway, she says she had never seen any of the Back to the Future movies. And what's funny is that the third movie, and I'm sure you guys know, that movie is based in 2015. They go to the future into
The second
2000.
one.
It's the
Yeah.
second one. It's second one. Yeah, you might be. Yeah, you're right. Second one. They go to 2015, and it's so wild because you see flying cars and things like
Yeah.
that. And
I
like
mean, there's a bunch of.
now look at
Go
us.
ahead, yeah.
8 years after that, like 8 years after that movie was based in, and look how things are. It's just kind of it's funny,
I mean,
what they thought
there's
back
a lot
then.
of stories that's based on a future that's already happened, like Blade Runner. That's set in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Mhm.
Yep.
thankfully, we're not there yet. But,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
'cause
true.
I feel like recently we've been seeing like, the memes of this kind of stuff where it's like, oh, this is the year or this is the date where like Back to the Future was
Mhm.
set. And then it kind of comes up every now and again. You're like, huh, that's funny. We're catching up to, yeah, this
Weird
like
cat.
crazy future. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so funny. But,
Yeah,
Which is
yeah. Like
but
I was
like
watching. Oh, go ahead, Jan. Go ahead.
I just want to say this: like these futures that have been envisioned are absolutely nothing like the the reality. Like I watch movies or like watch movies that are set like 100 years before now, or read a book that was actually written then, and I realize that absolutely nothing has changed. It's
Mhm.
like the same, but with phones, smartphones. I mean, of course, there are some conventions. Of course, news travels faster and all of that. The whole World Wide Web thing. But like, you just strip down to the basics. People live exactly the same way. So
Mhm.
there's no off-world colonies. There's no acid rains. There's no hoverboards. There's no shoes that tie by themselves.
We don't-
That's
we have
Velcro,
hoverboards.
isn't it?
Don't we have hoverboards now?
Well,
Oh yeah,
we
yeah.
call them that, but
Isn't
they're
there
not.
hover
They don't
cars and
hover.
stuff? I don't know.
They don't hover.
Okay, self-driving cars though, that's kind of close.
They do.
That's
Yeah,
true.
they do.
That's
Have,
true.
kind of-
That's true.
There's a lot of weird shit, but it was definitely like they predicted weird shit, and then what got invented was like adjacent weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Hover
Adjacent
hover
weird.
cars would be fun though if it was like, yeah, commonplace that we all just got into our hover cars and then we were in
Right.
hover car traffic jams. Yeah.
yeah, but
Imagine
see,
hover car traffic jam.
it wouldn't be good.
Can't
It
go
wouldn't.
anywhere else.
It wouldn't be good though because, especially I don't know, especially maybe where you guys are too. Like where I'm at, there's people that literally let their car get down to the point where it's only like it's well below E on their gas tank. So if you were like in
Oh,
a
I hadn't
hover
thought of that.
car, how about if you were like, oh god, I better hurry the hell up, I gotta fill my car up with gas, and then it just drop out the sky.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Some people
no.
love that though. They love the thrill.
No,
of it.
I'm sure. No,
They
I'm
love the
sure
thrill.
that there will be some.
Yeah.
No, there will be some safety precautions for sure.
They have to.
I
Be.
don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't
I
know.
mean-
Would there be-
I mean, come on, just imagine like the entire idea of a hover traffic jam is ridiculous, right? Just fly around it. So I feel like there would be some sort of there's sort of like tubes where you can get your car through, right? Some
Mhm.
sort of So I feel like they can't just let cars fly anywhere. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. It's barbaric.
Mhm.
That's so 2045.
That's barbaric.
But,
That's funny. That's really funny. But yeah, I immediately think of the person that forgets to get gas before work, like, and
are you
then
thinking about someone in particular?
yeah,
We're looking at him now.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, well, that was an interesting conversation to wrap up the show. I really
yeah.
Emma, thank you for being a team player on that because things can get kind of weird over here. So thank you. That was
Yeah,
good.
no, that was great fun. Good question. Yeah. Do you believe in aliens? Still a lot
That's-
to unpack there.
It's such a big question. That could be like
Yeah,
a whole like
Phoenix great, but
that's like a whole episode right there.
It
And that
is.
was like we just crammed like the past 5 to 8 minutes of information in that. That's pretty impressive.
yeah, we kind of wasted a whole episode idea though, and kind of making your job harder. But
We can circle back. It's fine.
all right,
We can circle back to it. Well,
More content. Woo.
yeah. No, we'll take it. I mean, anything because sometimes it does like you said, it gets a little hard to come up with topics. But you know what? That's what's great about over here. Like even if we didn't have you on, Emma, I mean, if me and Yaja did this, I mean, it's no telling where the conversation would go. I'll go gaming 1 second, and then before you know it, we're comparing back tats. So anyway, anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for coming to another episode of the Deadhead Podcast, episode 28. 28 episodes in, almost episode 30, and we're really, really excited to get there in just a few short weeks. And I'm really proud of what we've done over here, and I'm really happy that we had Emma on. I'm sure Jan feels the same as well. And yeah, it's been a good one. I really, really enjoyed this episode, and this really coming on here really did make my day because the first like 10 minutes before I started the show today, I was starting to feel a bit like, I wouldn't say like tired, but it took me a minute to wake up. So this is the weather's been terrible over here. So but anyway, so it's been good. So anyway, Emma, is there anything else you wanna talk? What kind of things you got going on your channel? Anything you'd like to say to the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, well, first of all, just thanks so much for having me on. This was great crack. I enjoyed talking to you about everything
Yeah.
from Aliens to Last of Us to
Mhm.
whatever else. Yeah, I suppose if you want to come and check out my channel, it's Once Upon a Quest. I
Mhm.
play videos I play games on YouTube. And yeah, I'm kind of like you saw today. I'm a little bit relaxed,
Mhm.
but I like to do funny voices
Mhm.
here and there, a little bit silly. Not the best at gameplay, but you know we're fine. We manage. It's all
Mhm.
right. But yeah, check it out there. And yeah, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no problem. And like I said before, we have her YouTube channel in the comments of this video, so definitely go check her out if you like to hear anybody who's new here, anybody who came over from Emma's side of things. Thank you. I hope you'll be returning back, and then hopefully we'll maybe have Emma back on after she finishes The Last of Us Part 2, and we'll talk about it some more because I
Yeah.
think that'd be kind of a fun conversation.
Yeah, and I'd love to try. I'd love to start Final Fantasy VII remake as well. So like that's
Let's
Definitely do that. Definitely do that. We'll definitely talk about that. You got to get ready for Rebirth. That comes out. That comes out in March. Oh, wow, my bad. You're not going to be probably into that game as much as us at that point because
Yeah.
you know, I mean, maybe, but
Maybe not by then. Maybe later on.
maybe
There's just
later
so
on.
much coming out. Yeah.
Maybe
But-
later on. Jan, you got anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Yes, I forgot. So catch you next time, guys.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's best
Yeah.
you got.
And I
Yeah,
believe
how much
that
pressure do you
you
want to put on me?
believe.
I believe it,
That-
you believe.
There we go.
So,
See,
yeah.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
See,
I believe in your dream. Well, why don't you make her the co-host then?
Oh, okay, fine. Hey, Emma, there's a job opening right now.
Oh my god. Such chaos. Remember, hashtag Joe Biden is a lizard. I think is what
Hashtag,
Yeah, that's
you know,
great.
marriage
That's great.
problems.
Yeah, well,
Hashtag
and I
marriage
believe that you
counseling.
believe. I believe that you believe is going to stay with me. I feel like
that's
I'm gonna
great.
keep-
Yeah,
Hashtag I believe that you believe.
Yes.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
It's the new you do you. You know that phrase? You do you.
It
It's
is,
the new,
yeah, you
I
do you.
believe that you believe.
Yeah, you go, girl. All right.
Yeah, that's good. That's probably when I if I do eventually get to cutting up this episode, I'll have to put in each caption hashtag Joe Biden's a lizard.
Mhm.
Hashtag what was the other one? If you believe, I believe. Is that what
If
you said?
I believe you believe.
that
I
you
believe you believe. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. We'll do that. But anyway, with that being said, thank
Love
you guys
it.
for coming to episode 28. Really appreciate you guys checking us out. And yeah, follow us everywhere. Follow Emma on her channel. And with that being said, stay dead, my friends. We'll see you in the next one.